So here we have Steppenwolf by RCT2 Day. This very release got a 79.38% design, released on April 17, 2017. I gave this park an 85%, which was 5% below the high vote and 15% above the low vote. Yeah, I was lucky. I guess I saw this park, or this when he started this way back. I think this is actually, if I remember correctly, he started this right after Head to Head 7, so almost 2 years ago now. So yeah, he's been working on this for quite a while, and I was lucky enough for him to ask me to help him with some hacks. I guess not really hacks, but sort of fixing merges and stuff in his park, if that makes sense. So yeah, but I mean this design is just fantastic in my opinion. I mean, it's NCSO, and I think he really has nailed his NCSO style in this park. I mean, man, the foliage is awesome. You know, he does a really good job making the path feel natural, so it's not just, straight and angular. These diagonals that he's done. I mean, this is pure NCSO too. I don't think he uses any, black tiles, but in Sport Blocker. But I mean, man, this is as good as you can get in my opinion for NCSO. I mean, these all the rocks and the ruins and the water, and this is really, really good. For the volcanoes, for the landscaping, and the way the river, all the ruins and this rapids. I mean, this is like perfect. Especially with this would be an awesome coaster to ride with these huge drops. I mean, this is like Alpengeist sort of size. And this this element over the river, this would be insane. Dropping this huge cliff into this awesome, this is perfectly placed too. The one thing I wasn't a big fan of was this mid-course brick run. I mean, it was it was too short. I mean, that's what it was. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's really a shame. That's the only sort of thing I don't like about this entire map is this is a mid-course. I mean, he probably could have just left it out, to be honest. Because a lot of the more modern inverts don't have that, so he could have just, continue the baking one more tile, or started the drop. I guess he would have started the drop one more tile sooner. But look at this. This is something I don't think anybody really noticed, was that the queue actually goes across this bridge, across the river. I mean, this is perfect interaction. I don't think anybody noticed that. Nobody really pointed that out, but obviously have great interaction between the two elements here. And he does his nice, support bracing on some of the invert supports here and here. Looks really good. I mean, your transfer track, which is really well done. I mean, the station is great. Queue is great. I mean, the theming is great. The log flume. Log flume is pretty solid. The one thing I'm not a big fan of is sort of how the drop goes right into the station and sort of raised up like this. But I mean, his style of park, it's not super realistic. It's sort of it's almost like the Disney Elhen of realism, where he kind of over exaggerates certain details, and to the point where it kind of feels like a surreal realism. Surrealism, I guess that's what I'll call it. So you have certain stuff like these ride designs that don't really make any sense. I'm sure these buildings that are kind of a little out of scale. But yeah, I guess one problem as well is that sort of the coaster exits through like a cafe. I mean, that's a little bit. And a gift shop makes sense, but that was a little bit weird. Like I probably would have, if this were me, I just would have turned the path and made it exit like this. You know, that's a little bit odd, I think. But I wonder what happens if you do. Do they start riding this more? No. Yeah, I mean, maybe in real life, but I've honestly never seen an exit through a cafe like this, but that just feels a little bit odd. I mean, these buildings are fantastic. I mean, every little bit of path. I mean, he does. I mean, he has this wagon here. You know, this is just really, really well done. Yeah, it's right in the water. This building is probably the weakest building apart, just because it's sort of flat. But this area here, the water wheel end, I mean, this is probably one of my favorite things I've ever seen in NCSO. Sort of the maze here with the balcony and the water over the top, supported by the launch free fall coaster or reverse free fall coaster track. This is like awesome. And sort of how the way this like opens up. I mean, this area is so good in my opinion. I mean, this building too. I mean, this is just so good. I guess some people could say it's a little bit messy, but I don't know. It never really bothers me. You know, I do think that this sort of the inclusion of this other style of architecture kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit odd. I guess it's because it's such a different sort of tone and color and style than the rest. It kind of does feel out of place with this sort of like pinkish white brick. The building is good enough, but it's not the strongest building in the park, and definitely feels a bit dull compared to some of the other ones. And in this area as well. I mean, it's good, but I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit too much gray path in this area. I mean, some people might complain about the gray path. I don't have a problem with it. I started to use a little bit more, just I think you can achieve atmosphere. I don't know, like I think putting colored path textures and different path textures down is like cheap atmosphere, like it's automatic atmosphere. I feel like it's more interesting if you achieve it in ways outside of having a colorable path tile or a colored path, you know, like a brick or a cobblestone or, you know, whatever. Yeah. And he has, like, all these rides are hacked. I mean, this is really well done. Always sort of has the coaster launched like this. It'll be interesting to see, you know, what happens if he to use. I mean, he could expand this. I mean, it's sort of. I actually wonder. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he could expand it. I could see him being able to expand it just because of the way way he places it on the map and the way the map expands. But man, excuse me. I mean, this style is really good, and I think turning this into a full map could win a spotlight. I think. I mean, because this was really robbed of 80% in my opinion. I mean, I think this is a lot better than Alex's contest entry. I mean, just in layout and sort of how it's composed. I mean, this interaction is really good, and this feels so much like really fresh for NCSO, and you know, it raises the bar, I think. So I don't know. I was disappointed didn't get 80. I think it was definitely deserving. just sort of like, I mean, the attention to detail in every single tile feels like he really, thought about it and put effort into it. Some people might not like that style of park making, but I think it's should be appreciated when he puts effort into every single detail into the park. But I mean, just like these fences. I mean, how long this would have taken? I mean, gosh. But especially this, like, I mean, he built most of this without OpenRCT. I don't think he really did anything until the very, very end. So just sort of how time-consuming and sort of frustrating it would be to build a lot of this stuff. How much easier it's made because of the way that Tile Inspector sort of changed the way you can build this kind of stuff. But yeah, deserving an 85 in my opinion. I probably at this point I wish I would have voted higher, but I think it was fantastic and probably the best. I'm trying to think of other NCSO releases that are better than this. I don't know. I mean, you had Kidron Park, obviously, a couple years ago, but I think this is definitely a step above that. But yeah, awesome job. Glad he's able to finish it. Took him 2 years, so. It's great to see. All right.